Coming from Horn in their all red with the white numbers and the red helmets. Matt Cain is the senior kicker for the Jaguars. And again, a team their first year in 5A. They beat John Tyler 41-2 just a couple of weeks ago. Cain with a very short approach, kicks it high and very deep, and Tony Bush will take it at the goal line. 5-10, looks for a seam, 15-20. Makes the first one miss, 25-30. He's gone 97 before, but he trips up. Otherwise, he was about to go 100 yards perhaps. A nice 40-yard kickoff return for Robert E. Lee's Tony Bush. And for Lee up front, Saron Black. And watch the matchup, Randy, between big number 79 and 89 for Horn. Cordero Moore, 6'3", 264. He's got offers from Oklahoma, Oklahoma State A&M, and also Texas Tech. 39 yards in the kickoff return from Tony Bush. Simpson in the slot is T.Y. Simpson far side, the H-back, and T.Y. is in motion, and they run Peyton Price up the middle for about 3 or 4 yards. Outside the 42, Cordero Moore was there. He and Tony Watkins and Ken Coward up front, the linebackers. Two cousins or twins, Malik and Malik. Mark and Alvin, the middle linebacker, Blake McCraw. There's a player down. Olayton Oguntodu and Jake Potter are the safeties who kind of make our monster backs. The true safeties, Cedric Knowlton, and then Jarrell Bennett or Jarrell Barnett and Michael Richardson are the corners. And right now, Malik is one who is down, and that is not what Horn needs.
Horn loses one of their starting linebackers.
And his brother Alvin, of course, on the other side at the outside backer. Almost a 3-3-5 defense. Josh Hill bobbles the snap, but does pick it up, but loss of yardage as Jake Potter comes from the backside and knocks Jason Williams down for a loss of 3. As Lee goes straight to the misdirection that time, and it brings up early on 3rd down and 8 for Robert E. Lee.
Just a great defensive play from the corner position for Potter. He reads the play and is able to snuff it out. And, of course, the execution or lack thereof slowed down the speed of the play for Lee.
So 3rd and 8. Lee went 3 and out last week on their opening possession against Mesquite, but still exploded eventually to get 44. Josh Hill will take the snap, will set up in the pocket, now has to run, and he has a lot of room. If he can turn the corner, he has a chance to get a first down, and he got it at midfield and knocked out of bounds at the Horn 47-yard line. Walter Simpson kind of shielded a defender to allow Josh Hill to pick up a very important first down and a gain of 13 yards. First down Lee, John Williams in the slot far side where Walter Simpson is. They run the stretch. T.Y. bounces outside, turns the corner, 45-40. First down, he stepped out of bounds right at the first down stick at the 37-yard line. But one thing we mentioned, Randy, on the way up here, and when we got here, this is real AstroTurf, and Robert E. Lee already has some pretty good speed, and you could see it that time with Tyrone.
Well, he does a great job of escaping the block one-on-one up front, as you mentioned from the start, with Saron Black on Cordero Moore. Moore's pushing Black back, but he gets around that corner in as Saron stays with his block, and he's able to get around the corner for a 10-yard gainer.
First down, Robert E. Lee at the Horn 37. Tony Bush is to the near side, left hash mark, going south towards the south end of the stadium. Offset eye, T.Y. right tackle. Gets a couple of 3 inside the 35 to the 33. Tony Watkins comes up to make a stop. The big sophomore who Mike Owens, the offensive or the head coach of Lee, saying he is very active, just a sophomore. Second down, 7. Cordero Moore and Saron Black going at it early in this game. 2 Division I prospects at 2nd and 7. Josh with the play action to the far side in trouble. Breaks away and will get drilled by Cordero Moore and dropped for a loss of about 7 yards outside the Horn 40. and they had a man wide open downfield for Robert E. Lee. That might have been Jonathan Williams, who was back. Tony Watkins disrupted that play. Actually, that was Tyrone Ross out of the backfield, and it brings up 3rd down and 14, and Horn's defense is getting after it.
Well, nice bit of coverage downfield from the defensive backs for Horn. Also give credit to Ken Cowart from the near side of the field coming across and beating on a stunt play, beating the Lee line to the quarterback.
A loss of 9 on the play. 3rd and 14 for Robert E. Lee at the 41 of Mesquite Horn. Josh will go back again, sets up in the pocket, sideline pass, caught. What a nice throw. Walter Simpson, 1st down yardage down to the Horn 25-yard line. The corner is Michael Richardson. Great blocking job by Saron Black on Moore, and a gain of 15 yards.
And they pick up the blitz, too, once again. I believe that was Tyrone Ross that picked up the blitzing linebacker Ken Cowart from the middle of the field, helping to preserve the quarterback to give him a couple more seconds to hit the out route to Warren Simpson.
That's a back-breaking 3rd down conversion against the Horn defense. 1st down at the Horn 25, and there's offsides against Saron Black, who jumped early. And we have just documented those pre-snap penalties many, many times. And after a very important 3rd down conversion, Mike Owens puts his hands up to the top of his head to look at Saron, who might be a little bit overzealous because of that matchup with Moore. 2 very good players, but boy, they cannot afford these kind of penalties once the games really start to matter next week.
Well, that's for sure. And when you have those things, it really limits your offense. You have to go down the field and be able to throw the ball better. And so far, Josh has not had a problem with that, but they've got to do a better job of blocking, too, to protect.
3 minutes into the first quarter, no score. Lee had the first possession. Josh Hill up the middle. Peyton Price kind of gets underneath everybody and gets about 4 yards of the 5-yard penalty back down to the 26. And on the stop that time is Hadley. And Ken Cowart, number 46, the senior. Simpson and Bush split either way. Simpson far side left, near side is Bush. H-back is T.Y. on the wing. And Josh goes back to throw, rolls to the near side, sets up, sideline pass, caught, 1st down. Tony Bush with a nice diving catch at the 14. Went down to make sure he had the catch, and a nice job by Josh Hill to get over the linebacker, and a 1st down pickup down to the 14-yard line. 1st down, Lee at the 14. Josh Hill bootlegs far side, in trouble, has to try to get away. Now we'll try to throw it away. Caught by T.Y. at the 20. This is going to be a lost yardage play. And Ken Cowart was the one putting pressure on him. Big number 46 is eaten alive that lead right-hand side of the offensive line. And Mesquite Horn will knock Tyrone down for a loss of 3, but it could have been much more.
Well, Tyrone probably caught the ball not knowing exactly where he was, but a loss on the play.
Blackbanks, Larman, Culp, and Holland for Robert E. Lee on the offensive line. Now Giles will go far side. Fleet is the tight end this way. Now John comes back the other way. Little pitch back to Price, has a block downfield at the 10. And knocked down inside the 10. Looked like he was about to break it, but Ogun Todu, the junior linebacker and safety, make the stop at a gain of 10 yards from Peyton Price. And if he would have got a lead block from the lineman who was kind of looking for somebody, Matt Holland, he might have scored, but Holland was there to kind of shield him initially. Opening drive straight on. T.Y. up the gut at the 5, and he scores. Touchdown, Robert E. Lee on 3rd down from the 9. Blake Larman and Sam Banks, and Saron had a peel block as well, and that is a very impressive drive with 2 3rd down conversions. 6:27 to go, first quarter. It is 6-0 Robert E. Lee.
Give credit to the big hogs up front, also to the right side, as that's where Tyrone kind of peeked through, but he had a nice hole on the delay trap play, and he's right in the end zone, untouched for 6 for the Red Raiders.
Nice job by, again, Banks, Culp, Larman, Holland, and Black on that particular play. A seal ISO play near the goal line, and he was untouched. Extra point by Skates is good. And our score, 6:27 to go, first quarter, 7-0 Robert E. Lee from Hanby Stadium in Mesquite on KTBB.
With a nice drive.
Cedric Knowlton is back deep along with Mon Williams, who we will talk about in a moment, the great tailback, the junior. And kicking off is the soccer kicker in the cornerback for Lee. It's Micah Johnson. This is Williams will let it go out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. Good decision from Mon Williams. Otherwise, he would have been trapped in the corner. And they go straight play action, roll far side. They got a man going deep. That is Williams. It is intercepted. No. Carey in Cuba jumped a little bit early, but did you see him close when that ball was in the air on a seam pass to Williams? who had kind of gotten tangled up with Micah Johnson. Cole skates in the blitz at second down.
Well, they run the fake to Williams, and he just darts straight out of the backfield off a right tackle and sets out on a fly straight down the field. And as you mentioned, Cuba picks him up about 15 yards downfield, and the pass was slightly underthrown by Schwark, and a nice defensive play for Cuba.
He could have had another pick. He ran one back last week. First, now 2nd and 10 Jaguars at their 30. Schwark, this is a pitch to Oputa, the fullback, who plows ahead for about 6. Warren DeHaven was there for Robert E. Lee along with Takari and Cuba. And it's now 3rd and 4 for the Jaguars in their red uniform. This kind of looks like an old game between Houston and Oklahoma.
A little bit. They run that fullback, and actually he takes the pitch and falls behind his right guard, Ryan Moss, who is the smallest lineman on that line, as you mentioned, David. He's 225. They come in averaging at about 260, so they do have a lot of beef up front.
They will split triple set to the near side. Williams now is the lone setback, and now they race somebody to the far side. And Schwark on 3rd and 4 from the 36. Takes the snap. Williams counter Trey. He is short of the first down. Looked like an offensive lineman jumped early anyway, but no flags. DeHaven was there, and he met Mon Williams head-to-head that time, along with Ricky Sherfield and Stripling, and this is forcing Horn to an early 4th down decision at their own 37-yard line. And I like this, with Tony Bush and Micah Johnson back to field the punch. Now remember, Horn is a team in their last game, so watch out for them pulling out all stops in this game. Snap to Kane, no pressure, kicks it end over end, and Bush will field it on his knees at the 28-yard line, and that's where Robert E. Lee will take over their second drive. 4:43 to go, first quarter, 7-0 Robert E. Lee, 34-yard punt from Matt King. Williams motion far side. Lone setback is Tyrone, and it's play action again for Hill, who sets up in the pocket and has Williams deep at the 40, down inside the Horn 35, and he was wide open. They flooded that side. It was Knowlton on the coverage, but a huge strike to the junior, John Williams, to the Horn 31 and a gain of 40 on first down.
And Williams separated from the cornerback, and the safety's late to get there, and Knowlton shows up late. The pass was slightly underthrown, but give credit to the offensive line for Lee as they protect Josh Hill very well on that play, and he finds a receiver who is 7 or 8 yards in the wide open when he makes the catch.
And so far early on in this game, Saron Black is leading in the head-to-head margin with Cordero Moore with great protection there as well. First down, Lee at the Horn 31. Offset I. This is Peyton up the middle for 2 or 3, down close to the 25 for a gain of 5. Cordero Moore on his ankles. And Lee with the tight end near side, that is Jonah Murphy. Stretch to T.Y., cuts it against the grain, 20. Makes a move, 15, fumbles the football, and it is loose on the ground inside the Horn 10, and a wide receiver downfield came up with that ball. And I think it is John Williams who's the man in the right spot as T.Y. got down inside the 10, fumbled, and John Williams recovered the hit by Jake Potter. Tyrone Ross is now over 4,000 yards in his career and over 1,000 for this year. Split far side Simpson. Lone setback is Peyton Price. T.Y., they go up the gut. Peyton Price off right tackle, keeps churning. Here comes a late flag from way away from the action. From the referee, Chappelle, looked like a holding call against maybe Sam Banks, or Sam Banks was the lead blocker, but this is going to cost Robert E. Lee 10 yards as they get down inside the Horn 10-yard line. Sanders on the stop that time for the Jaguars.
Well, they sent Tyrone in motion, and he almost ran into Josh Hill when he turned around with the snap, but the flag did come from the referee, and he threw it right at the feet of 2 or 3 lead linemen who were pulling out on the play. And it's a big penalty, but Lee, let's see if they can keep the momentum going on this drive.
At the 19 now, instead of the ball at 2nd and goal from the 5, it is now at the Horn 19-yard line. Andrew Bailey, the center on this series for Robert E. Lee. Offset eye, T.Y. the deep back, Peyton Price the up back, and here's play action bootleg. Josh will keep it. Outside gets a block at the 15. Down inside the 15, close to the 13. Saron Black leading the way. And Baker, that time it is Devon Baker, the backup cornerback, who makes the stop after a short gain of 5. Walter Simpson will split to the near side in the slot, and it's Tony Bush far side as the wide receiver. Tight end far side is Fleet. In motion, here's a flag. And another pre-snap penalty, and Sam Banks this time, and Robert E. Lee up 7-0. And driving now with a holding call and now a 5-yard procedure call and another pre-snap call.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense. Stay second down.
Second down, Lee at the 18-yard line.
Well, it's those kinds of things that are correctable, but this late in the season, they should not be happening. And I'm sure Coach Fleet, when he gets back over the sideline, is going to let him know to really concentrate better.
Davenport is in at right tackle for Robert E. Lee as well, in for Matt Holland. Second down, and this is second down and goal, remember, from the 18. Giles, the H-back, and Josh Hill. Here comes the blitz. In trouble, rolls left, now going to be hit from behind and sacked. And he got tossed around like a dish rag by Lightson Oguntodu. And they are bringing the kitchen sink, and this drive is going back at the 32-yard line. It is third and goal from the 32. 2 sacks against the league passing game. Jonathan Williams and Simpson far side, Tony Bushwood near side. From the 32, here's the snap to Josh. In the pocket, now has to roll, throws it, caught Tyrone at the 30, 25, and down at the 23-yard line. And at least may have given Lee an opportunity to kick a field goal here. Blake McCraw may have saved even more of a gain as it goes down to the 23 and a gain of 9. But pressure again on Josh Hill. Cole Skates kicked 3 field goals last week. This will be from 40 yards. Giles, the deep snapper. Preston Hill, the holder. Snap, hold, kick. And something happened there. It kind of got tipped or something by maybe number 4, Olayton Oguntodu. And Cowart may have been involved. Knowlton is there, and I don't even know what happened, to be honest with you.
It looked like he missed it, or he just hit it off the side of the foot or down towards the field level.
Kerry saying it got blocked right up the middle. It looked like a player hurdled on top of one of his own players, which you're not allowed to do, but Cedric Knowlton, who knows, he might be a high jump champion, but Lee had the ball at the 5, guys, and they now give it up to Horn at the 24, and that was just an absolutely beautiful possession that turned ugly in a hurry. Horn from the 24-yard line, and this is the tailback off right tackle for about 3 or 4 yards, and the ball comes loose, and it's recovered by Horn at the 27-yard line. A gain of 4 now, only comes up with a gain of 3, and that was number 3, Jonathan Phillips, who has 127 yards rushing this year.
Well, it was the 2 penalties that really just delayed the drive and sent it backwards, and then the big sack from Oguntodu on Josh Hill lost 14 yards as well, so Lee backed up once they got inside or at the 10-yard line.
Cole Skates not used to missing anything. He's in his career. Field goals, 17 of 19 prior to the block. That ends the first quarter, 7-0 Robert E. Lee back in 30 seconds on KTBB. Is the quarterback. Mon Williams right behind him along with the fullback. And here's a man in motion. They ran at the Horn, goes to Williams, and he's a tough load up the middle for a tough 7-yard gain, maybe, about 6. DeHaven and Lance Heap were there for Robert E. Lee. But he got into the hole in a hurry, out to the 34-yard line. It's third down and a yard.
He got a nice push up front from Drew Chasney, 6'3", 290-pound junior. The left guard made a nice block up front on McKenzie to push Mon Williams forward.
They will measure the balls at the 34-yard line. First down Horn as Williams picks up 7 yards on his second carry of the game. Kind of a semi-inverted bone. Back to throw. Schwartz, man wide open. Williams, first down, 45. He's got down the sideline room. He stepped out of bounds, but they let him keep going. Down inside the Lee 37-yard line. Very nice pickup of 30 yards and a first down.
Well, it was a well-designed play. He just came out of the backfield into the right flat, and there was the quarterback rolling out to find him. He makes the catch. No one at home for Lee. He just tippy-toes down the sidelines and does a great job of picking up more yardage before he's brought down by Cuba and company.
It's hard to stop a guy when he has a little extra couple of yards on the sideline as well. First down Horn at the Lee 36-yard line. Split backs behind Schwartz. They go to Williams up the middle. Got about 2 or 3. Stripling was there to stop him at the ankles. As he gets down inside the 35-yard line, a gain of 3, and it brings up second down and 7. Now second and 7. Schwartz, they throw it back to Phillips. He's got about 3 or 4 down inside the Lee 30, and that time it's Quet Nicholson coming up from the secondary position to make the stop after a gain of 4, and it's third down and 3 for the Jazz. Wing T-type formation from the Lee 30. Third and 4. Schwartz to Williams, first down. He got into the secondary in a hurry. Tackle made by the safety to Carey and Cuban, a gain of 6 yards. And that's a first down, and they're getting quick burst right off the tackle that time from Mon Williams. 1st and 10 at the Lee 23. Tight end near side, play action, Schwartz. Now wants to roll, in trouble. Lee's speed gets to him, and he throws it away. Very smart play because Robert E. Lee's Cole Skates and Jacoby McKenzie were there, and they were about to knock him out, and it's 2nd down and 10. 2nd down and 10 at the Lee 23. Tight end far side, back to throw Schwartz. Get the pass incomplete, intended for the big wide receiver, number 88, Lauren Carter. So now 3rd and 10, Horn with triple sets. 2 receivers far side, right in the middle of the field. Williams, the lone setback, draw play to him. Tries to bounce it outside, and he will be swarmed under by Cole Skates. What a great play by the senior linebacker, almost as if he was mirroring Mon Williams in a loss of 7. Great play by Cole Skates, and it's now 4th down and 17. And Schwartz, remember, 43 of 102 yards, 102 passing this year. And he will take the snap, 3-step drop. Fade pattern. He's got Carter deep, and he caught it. And he beat Micah Johnson pretty badly right off the line of scrimmage. You got to be kidding me. On 4th and 17, touchdown Horn. 31 yards. That's unbelievable. 31 yards, and they now are an extra point away from tying this game up. And Carter has 9 catches this year. And he caught that one for 31 yards, and the score, here comes the extra point to tie it up, and it is good. Robert E. Lee needs to get their game face on. They had a chance to blow it open early, and we're tied with 8:37 to go first quarter. Back in 1 minute on News Talk 600 KTBB.
Yeah, just last week, a very similar play. 4th down and 15. Mesquite was able to throw a touchdown on 4th down. That game, it didn't really seem to help Mesquite that much as they went on to lose by 31, but only time will tell if it hurts Lee tonight.
Here's Brad Royal on the kickoff. He's out to the 30, 35, 40. Nice job, and he just got in a big old pile and ran out to the 43-yard line. But you're right, Antonio Brown caught the touchdown pass from Dre Johnson last week on a very similar play. That was a cover 2. I think that was straight man-to-man. At least we don't know, but it looked like it was. And Micah Johnson doesn't get beat very often, but he did get beat there.
Well, he just blew right by him and left him alone right near the goal line, and he ran right under the pass. He found the ball, and he really is the only one that found the ball because Johnson never looked up till it was too late.
Very nifty over-the-shoulder catch. Robert E. Lee, and this is T.Y., stretch play right tackle for a couple of yards, knocked down there. And this Horn football team, Blake McCraw, the middle linebacker, their leading tackler, was 62 this year. Fired up now to the big offensive drive and a gain of just a couple.
Well, this is what Mike Owens did not want to have happen, and he mentioned that earlier in the week, that you don't let a team that has nothing else to play for but pride
feel like they can keep on
keep them in the game. So Lee has to really answer now on this drive.
Boy, you had the ball for 2nd down and goal from the 5. You're up 7, a chance to make them think they shouldn't be here, and now they feel like they're the ones taking control of the tempo. Lee stacks 2 men on the left side, and Josh will go back to throw. Has time, sideline pass, almost picked off. Nice job by Jarrell Barnett, who made a nice move on a pass to the sideline to Simpson, and he catches that one. He's gone. 3rd down and 8. Ball at the 45-yard line. Lee in their own territory. Bush and Simpson near side. Bush, the only one that's got different shoes on this team, and Robert E. Lee jumps off sides, and that is Matt Holly. And we could talk about this, and I know this is the high school level, but this is the 10th game of the year, and this football team, there have been a couple of games where they've been able to get away with it, but this is going to hurt them in the postseason if they don't wake up on these kind of penalties. Giles, Williams, and Bush in the shotgun. Josh Hill, sideline pass for just about 3 or 4 yards to Tony Bush and knocked out of bounds by Michael Richardson, and that gives Lee about 6 yards, and that is it. Out to the 47-yard line, a gain of 7, and Robert E. Lee will punt with Josh Hill back deep to take the snap.
Well, they'll have to get off a good punt now and play field position here and get the ball back on defense, as the Horn defense has held Robert E. Lee on this possession.
Josh Hill is 6 of 7 passing for 82 yards. The only incomplete pass is that sideline pass on 2nd down and 8. Snap comes from John Giles. The up back is Peyton Price. Josh Hill, the leading punter in the district, takes it off the ground and turns it over. Here's a flag. Oh, no.
Said his knee hit the ground.
Josh Hill, when he fielded the punt, had his knee on the ground, and Horn will take over at the Robert E. Lee what looks like
34.
the 34-yard line. Now, split backs. This is the deep pitch back to Okolata, the fullback, and he will pick up 2 or 3 yards, and there's a flag down, and this might be a face mask call. And now a late hit at the end of the play against Dominique Van Zandt. What is Robert E. Lee thinking right now? We'll check the first flag. There are 3 penalty flags on the field. Craig.
It looked like Dominique Van Zandt might have got hit after the running back for Mesquite Horn was already down, and then I saw Van Zandt get back up, clearly push one of the other players in front of 2 referees, and both of them proceeded to throw their flag. So it looks like it'll probably be a personal foul on Van Zandt.
So Dominique Van Zandt,
2
here's the
fouls
call.
on the play.
Here we go.
Both will be enforced. 5-yard face mask against the defense.
5-yard face mask against the defense, as I mentioned, on the tackle, and then late hit 15 yards. This is a 20-yard penalty at the end of a run that was already about a 3-yard pickup in the first place. And the penalty flags, Robert E. Lee has already been penalized now 6 times in this game.
Dead ball.
Make it 7 because we missed the kickoff that went
against
out of
the
bounds
defense.
too, David. So.
Half the distance.
Wow.
First down.
That'll be a 12-yard penalty there. And you're right, the 5-yard kickoff is actually a 10-yard penalty. Or no, it's a top 5, doesn't matter. Mesquite Horn is 1-8 this year. They have the ball at the Lee 12-yard line, and the game is tied, and the clock is running with 7:15 to go in the first half, and Robert E. Lee is sleepwalking here. Preston Hill now in at safety for Lee. Lee jumps off sides, the right tackle, and it looked like it might have been Cordero Mumphrey who jumped early. And there are flags all over the field, and these guys are getting a workout against the team in all white with the red numbers. Bobby Osborne in at defensive tackle for Lee. Williams right behind Schwark, man in motion. This is Oputa, the fullback, at the 5, near the goal line, down at the 1 and a first down. Gain of 6, Preston Hill, the safety, has to make the stop. Schwark, snap. Williams, right tackle or left tackle, fumbles the football, and Robert E. Lee has forced a huge turnover. Micah Johnson, Craig, you saw it.
Yeah, nice hit by pretty much everybody there in the middle linebackers for Robert E. Lee. Micah Johnson saw the ball squirt out, and he was able to jump on it first about the 2-yard line.
Maybe that is what the alarm clock needed to wake these kids up. Mon Williams fumbles the ball at the 2, and it didn't look good until then, Randy.
Well, a nice hit up front from DeHaven and Ricky Sherfield as well. And the ball does squirt loose, and Micah Johnson, along with 2 other white shirts, alertly get to the football. And a big turn of events for Lee.
The only thing better than that is if Micah could have picked it up because there was really nobody there, he would have gone 100. Lee at the 1.5 will make it to 2. T.Y. is actually 6 yards deep in the end zone. They run the wingback or fullback counter to Peyton Price for a couple of 3, and that is it. He has stood up at the end of the play. Ogun Todu, boy, we've talked about him a lot. And I'll tell you what, there are some kids below us and making a lot of racket. It's like Halloween. And so far it has been for the Lee football team. 7-7 with just under 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. And they stop the clock. There's a flag down.
On Lee, of course.
Dead ball. Unsportsmanlike penalty against Robert E. Lee.
Second down.
That's 9 penalties in the first half.
That's a 1-yard penalty, but that's not the point.
It's just that it happened. And
This is now a personal foul, an unsportsmanlike penalty, 3 illegal procedure calls, a kick out of bounds, a holding call, and a defensive offsides. Second down, T.Y., right tackle, bounces outside at the 5. At the 10, makes a man miss and might have a first down, and that's a very nice run outside the 10-yard line. Knowlton, the safety, and Cordero Moore hustles down to make the stop. But T.Y. picked up 12 yards and a first down, and boy, did Robert E. Lee need that. Double tight set. T.Y., right tackle. 10, 15, looks for a block. Saran, 20, 25, runs over the safety at the 32. Tony Bush downfield with a nice block, and Mike Owens all over Saran Black with a nice congratulations to get moving, big boy. Gain of 19 for Robert E. Lee. This thing started, remember, with Horn at the Lee 1.5 before the fumble. That was 19 for T.Y., 68 yards on 7 carries. Play action, Josh in trouble, finds his tight end, Giles. First down out near midfield, and a nice job by Josh Hill to avoid the sack. Sanders on the stop, but a gain of 15 to the tight end, Giles.
And really just a great job of really keeping his composure as Josh Hill, as he had a defender right on top of him as he turned the corner, but he found Giles running down the field and picks up a nice gainer.
Out to the 48-yard line. Robert E. Lee, 7. Mesquite Horn, 7. Under 5 minutes to go, first half at Hanby Stadium. T.Y. Lone set back 2 receivers near side, Williams and Walter. Off right tackle, here comes Saran with a lead block, 40. Down the sideline, 30. Inside the Horn, 25-yard line. Saran Black with a great peel block. Down to the 25 and a gain of 27 yards. Lee double tight set. This is T.Y. left tackle, 15-yard line. No, he doesn't quite get there. Knocked down after a gain of 9. Here comes a late flag at the end of the play. Not sure exactly where this come from. Tackled by Baker at the 16-yard line, but the flag comes from the referee after the play is over at about the 15 or 16-yard line, and they are talking to Mesquite Horn, and this may be another post-play penalty against Robert E. Lee. No, this is going against Horn. So maybe the reason why Lee has had an unsportsmanlike penalty call, and maybe why there's been a late hit, was because they were drawn into that, and that's what happened there. Gain of 10, and then half the distance penalty for another 8 yards on the personal
Dead
foul.
Ball. Personal foul.
I'll tell you, David, that play worked that time because Saran Black pancaked Cordero Moore.
Was that Peyton on the play? No, that's Tyrone.
That was Tyrone.
T.Y. is over 100 yards. This is again up the middle on the fullback counter. Nothing there as Peyton's wrapped up at about the 8-yard line. Got a yard. Cowart on the stop, number 46, now with 4 minutes to go. So Lee has second down and goal from the Mesquite Horn 8-yard line as Peyton has 5 carries for 25 yards. He's the lone setback. T.Y. is on the wing. This is bootleg. Josh Hill, 5, touchdown inside the pylon. What a nice nifty fake that time to T.Y. And Peyton Price got a block, and Walter Simpson as well. And Lee just went 98.5 yards for the touchdown drive.
And the fake sold it as he rolled back near side. He did an excellent job of hiding the ball along his left hip, and no one there at home for Horn. And 2 or 3 nice blocks in the end zone for Lee. Springs Josh Hill for 6, and Lee takes the lead again.
This is a football team that was kind of sleepwalking, and the fumble recovery by Micah Johnson has kick-started them. 98.5-yard drive. Now Giles, who had a big catch on this drive, snapped to Hill. Kick by Cole Skates is up and good. Our score with 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go. First half, Robert E. Lee 14, Horn 7, back in 60 seconds. Now the defense has to come up with another big play, but down deep into Horn territory to give the offense another opportunity. Here's the kickoff by Johnson, picked up at about the 15 by Phillips, 20, 25, 30, and knocked down there at the 32-yard line. And the kicker, nice to have the kicker who's also a cornerback, and Matt Uzel make the stop at the 31-yard line. From the 31, this is Oputa, right tackle. Jason Williams tried to strip it instead of making the tackle, and he got him another 6 or 7 yards. Stripling, Jason Stripling, and a gain out to the 37-yard line. It's now second down and 4. Gotten some recognition by Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. This is Williams up the middle. He ran right in to Cole Skates. And also down there, 45, Justin Simmons and Ricky Sherfield. I tell you what, it was Nick Mitchell, but Cole Skates and Mitchell just shut him down, and it's third down and 3.
Now, they do such a great job, Dave, with their instincts and their speed to the football, and right at the point of attack, they just beat off the blocks.
From their 38-yard line, they hand it off. Williams, 40, first down, splits down at the 45. Got about 7 yards. And he's got a long stride. Warren DeHaven, sideline to sideline, along with Takari and Cuba, but Horn gets the first down to stop the clock.
He's a fantastic-looking athlete, at least from up here, too. We talked about the size of his arms and his legs and his feet as well. He just turns forward, has a nice lean to him, and runs pretty much straight up, kind of like Adrian Peterson, probably not that great, but he has a nice pickup.
Just a junior. First and 10, Horn at their 45 with 2 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the half. 14-7 lead. Schwartz play action, rolls to the far side. Wants to throw, incomplete. Coverage from Takari and Cuba. And also in the way was Nick Mitchell. Good pressure for Lee as Schwartz went far side. Cole Skates also in the vicinity of where the throw was.
Not really their strength, and we mentioned that a few times. They do a great job of keeping the ball motoring downfield on the ground, but nice bit of coverage, too, from Cuba as he comes up behind Quet Nicholson to pick up the receiver on a slant pattern.
Longview scored early against John Tyner to take the lead 7-0 as they are at the end of the first quarter at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. Horn, tight end near side, right hash. Schwartz, quick drop, throws, pass, caught, drop. And that should have been a first down. And then to carry in Cuba. Oh, my goodness. Just in case Lauren Carter caught it, he blows him up. And it's now 3rd down and 10. 3rd and 10 now. Horn from their 45. Minute 54 to go in the first half. Schwartz, play action pass. Sets up, pressures. Going deep, Micah Johnson is there, and he picked it off. No, could have picked it off. Intended for 31, and Micah that time with great coverage, and it sets up 4th down for Horn, and they should be punting here with 1:46 to go. The clock stopped for the incomplete pass. Lee has both Bush and Micah Johnson back here. Be nice to see some sort of nice return. Back is the punter, Kane, at his 32. From his 45 is where the snap comes. There's a snap. Gets it off, line drive punt. Micah Johnson from the 23. Looks for a wall, 30, 35. Spins around 40. Out to the 46-yard line, and that's nice coverage. Initially, Horn just ran right by him, and a good job on a coverage on the kick by Micah Johnson. 32-yard punt, 22-yard return. If you have just one man back deep, that thing hits the ground and keeps on rolling. Giles and Williams in the slot. Simpson and Bush split far side. Snap to Josh. Steps up. Now rolls to the far side. Now sets up, goes the other way. Oh, T.Y. is wide open. 40, makes a move, cross field inside the 35, and the offensive line does a great job of not getting downfield with patience inside the 35 to the 32, gain of 22, Barnett with the stop.
And who was blocking for him, by the way? Tyrone Ross swings out, makes the catch, and a nice big gainer for Lee.
Now Josh Hill is having one heck of a first half. He is 8 of 9 for 119 yards. In the shotgun, clock now at exactly a minute. Takes the snap, steps up. Now keeps running, 35-30, 25-20. First down, clock will stop at 53 seconds. And John Williams with a very nice block on Blake McCraw to get him loose for a gain of 16 yards and a timeout. 53 seconds to go in the first half, 14-7. Robert E. Lee, and we're back in 60 seconds on KTBB. At the Mesquite Horn 17-yard line, and Josh Hill with 4 receivers, 2 each side, right in the middle of the field. Williams in motion. T.Y.'s the lone setback, and Josh will take the snap. Rolls right, throwing, man open at the 5. That is Williams. Can he get in? No, but a nice play and a gain of about 15 yards and another first down, and has John Williams, Randy, been a factor in this game. Timeout, Robert E. Lee. 43 seconds to go, but a dart down inside the 5.
And he runs
5 yards. They will go full house backfield at the 1. Double tight, Josh. Pitch back to Tyrone. Tripped up and knocked down for a loss of about a yard. Clock goes down inside 40, and Michael Richardson, the cornerback, with a nice job. Ken Coward kind of forced that thing outside as well.
They did a great job of making a good push. And also the middle linebacker comes over at the very end of the play and helps wrap him up too. But a good somersault flip tackle from the Horn defense.
Lee does have a timeout remaining. The clock is down inside 20 seconds. Full house backfield from the 2. Josh up the middle. T.Y. leans in. Does he get the call? Yes. Touchdown. And he just kind of said, no one's stopping me here. And he went behind Banks and Black. And Robert E. Lee has scored, and that's a dangerous call, but a safe call, and they still have the timeout left. That would have given them maybe one more shot and then a field goal if they have a problem. But a great drive for Robert E. Lee. Very nice job by Josh Hill directing the 2-minute offense.
And on that play, they decide to go to their strong suit on the left side behind Banks and Saron Black, who get an excellent push up front, pushing back the Horn defense, and Tyrone Ross goes over from 2.
And don't give Horn much time to get anything going after this. Here's the extra point by Cole, and it is good. And our score, 8 seconds to go in the first half. Remember now, Horn was at the Lee 1, about to take the lead. It's 21-7. Robert E. Lee back in 1 minute.
In a $1.25, Tyrone Ross takes it over from 2 yards out. and they have a commanding 2-touchdown lead at the moment. Smokey, back to you.
Well, and let's give the defense, folks, some credit here because they had the turnover, then they went 98.5, and then they forced Horn after one first down to punt it, and Lee's offense right now, they hate to see halftime because they are in full throttle click. Here's the squib kick that is picked up by Horn. Well, they drop it initially at about the 15, and now he wants to look for his mom. He is knocked down inside the 15 by great coverage from a lot of different people. And there's a lot of folks down there, and Lance Heap, I think, is at the bottom of that pile. He is. And that ends the first half, and Craig Smoke with Mike Owens.
Coach Owens, your offense was able to score in the first drive of the game, then had a little trouble after that. But how important was that last score by Tyrone Ross right before the half?
Well, it's real important. I mean, we need to go up by 21 because, we're not playing real focused right now. So, we need to go in at halftime and come back out here and play.
Your defense has done a great job of shutting down Mon Williams, but Mesquite got the big touchdown on 4th down and 17, and then Micah Johnson was able to recover a fumble on the 2-yard line. How big was that for your ball club?
Oh, that was huge. They're fixing to go up. Imagine that, scoring on 4th and 17, run right by us. I guarantee you, that is beyond imagination.
Seems like your team's had a lot of trouble with penalties on both sides of the ball. About 10 penalties, I think, was the last count. What do you attribute that to in the first half?
Oh, absolutely no focus whatsoever. I mean, we are completely out there right now. We're not focused. I think we've come back and done a little better here in the late part of the game, but at first that game we were in space, outer space.
Saron Black's had guys on his face before and after plays. It seems like he's real jacked up tonight. Do you think this is the time for some seniors to step up and show some leadership?
Well, if they're going to do it, they need to do it now because we need some momentum going in, and I expect them to the second half. I think it'll be a little bit different second half.
All right, thanks, Coach.
I wonder why. Maybe because the field house, if it's got paint, will be peeled off here at halftime. 21-7, Robert E. Lee. And again, they are trying to get themselves into a rhythm for the post-game or postseason against the Garland Owls next Saturday at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium in Tyler. We come back with our halftime statistics, highlights from the first half. Robert E. Lee 21, Mesquite Horn 7. Back after this with our Kid Jones Convenience Stores halftime report on KTBB. Don't you wish you had the mentality of what you have now and you had your athletic ability, whatever that ability might have been back then? Okay, back deep is Cedric Knowlton, Jonathan Phillips, and Mon Williams for Horn as they trail 21-0. And Mike Owens promised a much more focused group for Robert E. Lee in the second half. Micah Johnson with a very high kick, and Williams will catch it at about the 8. Looks for the seam at the 10, bounces to the near side, and will be knocked down somewhere outside the and the ball comes loose, and Robert E. Lee has recovered a fumble early. He got held up, and I think Nick Mitchell may have forced the fumble, and now we'll wait for the call as Robert E. Lee has come up with a football, and they have. Adrian Beard, I think. Is that right, Craig?
Beard.
Adrian Beard comes up with the fumble, and Robert E. Lee, and maybe Mike Owens did peel off a little bit of paint. Was it John Williams? Craig, are you kidding me? John Williams again?
Yeah, Adrian Beard and John Williams are in the same area, but Williams being the taller player, it looked like it was John Williams after all.
Wow, that would be his second fumble recovery if, in fact, it was him instead of Adrian. And Lee gets it at the 28-yard line of Horn on their doorstep. Tight end is Fleet. This is the stretch to Tyrone, cuts it off left tackle, 25-20, runs over a corner, and it comes loose. And it's still on the ground, and John Giles recovers inside the Mesquite Horn 5. And Randy, remember early in the year, Lee would fumble the ball, or the opponents would fumble, they couldn't recover. Hey, tonight they've done a great job of coming up with all the loose change.
Well, it did, and the ball popped free at about the 12 and went straight forward towards the end zone, and John Giles beats a Horn defender right to it, right along the sideline to make the recovery, and a nice first down gain as well for T.Y.
T.Y., by the way, may have gotten dinged on that play as he goes to the sideline, and the hammer, Jason Williams, will be the deep back with Peyton Price, the up back, and Lee at the 5-yard line on 1st and goal. This is Peyton Price up the middle, down near the goal line, and just shy of the goal line at about the 1, and it now brings up 2nd down and a yard. And if Lee had a slow start in the first half, they have made up for it with 2 drives at the end of the first half, and now the possibility of a scoring drive right here.
In a big way, and a nice push up front from the Lee offensive line. Give them credit on both plays as they've opened holes on the first down play with a big run from Ross, and right there for Price as well.
So lone setback is Jason the Hammer Williams, double tight set at the 1. Hill, quarterback keeper, nudges across, and he gets the signal, yes, touchdown, as Robert E. Lee takes advantage of a huge break, and then they get another one when they recover their own fumble, and Robert E. Lee has blown this thing, at least for now, open 27-7, a minute 19 into the second half.
The safest play call in the world is a quarterback sneak as long as the exchange is made great, and it is, and Lee just pushes forward and gets the 6 points and a big opening drive, a short one at that, and Lee capitalizes.
Josh Hill and Tyrone Ross have both scored twice now. And here comes the snap from Giles, hold from Preston Hill, kick by Cole Skate is perfect, and our score. 10:41 to go, third quarter, and Mesquite Horn has had problems with the turnovers and is starting to come back to bite them again. 28-7, Robert E. Lee. 28-7 is the score, as Randy mentioned. Remember, at one time it was 7-7, and Horn was at the Lee 1-yard line before the Micah Johnson fumble recovery. Here comes Micah Johnson, the very high kick, pretty deep. And it's Knowlton at about the 8-yard line at the 10, 15, and driven down by Matt Uzel, I think, at the 23-yard line. Tyrone Ross, by the way, went out of the game after the run to start the second half. After the fumble, it picked up a first down, fumbled the football. And they are checking something on his hand. Lee defensively, Cuba and Heap are the safeties. DeHaven, Van Zandt, and Cole Skates the linebackers. Corners are Nicholson and Micah Johnson. Sherfield, Mumphrey, and Jacoby McKenzie up front, the top three for Robert E. Lee. 1st and 10, Horn at their 24-yard line. Split backs, Schwartz, and he lost a couple of yards on a play to Mon Williams off right tackle, and they are all over number 7. 2nd down and 12, tight end near side. They throw it back to Williams on the power sweep, and he gets through the first couple of tacklers and gets on his horse out for a first down. Wow. Man, that looked pretty good. Gain of about 12 yards. Heap was there. Nicholson came over to help from the other side, but a gain of 13. They had him at the line of scrimmage, but he kept on running hard. He got his best run of the night so far. First down, Horn at their 34-yard line. Split backs. It's Oputa and Mon Williams. And here comes a flag, or not sure exactly what it might be. The play clock is at 8.
Equipment violation on the defense. One charge, team timeout.
Oh, an equipment violation. There is an equipment violation against Robert E. Lee, and I'm not sure exactly who it might have been against. But it's not a penalty. It's a charged timeout, and it might be a player might not have had his mouthpiece in. And, boy, there's a lot more things to worry about, you would think, than that. And I know it's for the safety of the players. Don't get me wrong, but I guess Randy Huffstickler
trying to find
out.
Oh,
I know what it was. Jerry Reed might be talking to Jacoby McKenzie, and I'm not so sure. I am not. I've been doing this now for as old as I am, a long time. I've never heard that penalty called in my life. Robert E. Lee trying to tune up for what will be a showdown galore next week against Garland. First down, Jaguars. Straight drop, slant pass, caught. Boy, getting inside Nicholson tonight. That's the second one. They could run that all night long until a safety helps over 13 yards. And a team that does not throw the ball very well has 74 yards passing. And this is Oputa, right tackle for about 2 or 3 out near midfield, and he's got about 2. And Craig Smoke's got an update on the injury with Tyrone Ross. Craig?
Yeah, good news for Lee fans. It doesn't seem to be anything too serious with Tyrone Ross. He ran over a guy on that last play and seemed to bruise his hand on somebody's helmet.
Okay, well, and that's going to happen. 2nd down and 8, and Cordero Mumphrey on the stop that time for Robert E. Lee. Now Quentin Nicholson back in, and Jeremy Moore runs off the field as quickly as he can on 2nd down and what is 8 for Schwark and the Jaguars offense. He's a pretty big quarterback, that Schwark at midfield. And this is Mon Williams, left tackle, down inside the 45, close to the 43, and close to a first down to Carrion Cuba that time. And that seems to be the best play that Horn has. DeHaven was there as well, but a gain of 6 yards.
Yeah, running off tackle with Mon Williams is the way he runs with a powerful stride. and they get their big tackles, as we mentioned, at 275 and 295 on either end. The nice bookends get a nice push, and it's a big play upcoming for Horn.
I talked to the Garland head coach, Jordan, at halftime. I'll pass along something he said in a moment. At the Lee 43-yard line, Schwark to Mon Williams, right tackle, first down inside the Lee 40 for a gain of 5, and Dominique Van Zandt and Jason Stripling and Takarian Cuba there. He said, we feel very confident about our running game. We have 4 running backs. We have better depth at our running back position than we've had in my 12 years there. He also mentioned that their defense played very well early, and it was very similar to Lee. They played DeSoto and Carter and Ennis and a lot of good people. And he said, we probably were better after non-district than we were 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we're trying to get retuned as like Lee is as well and focus for the playoffs. This is Oputa, and he will lose maybe a foot or 2. Ricky Sherfield shut him down. And Robert E. Lee's defense that time showing their tremendous speed and also pursuit and a loss of a yard. Now second down and 11, split backs. Man is in motion. Schwark rolls right. Can run if he wants to, and he does. 40. And then he's hit from behind on great pursuit from the way back side from Lance Heap and Cole Skates as well. And what looked like was going to be an 8 to 10 yard run. The lead defensive speed stops him for a gain of 3.
And Lance Heap just does a fantastic job of getting by the left guard who comes out to pick him up and just fights right through Drew Chasney and just spins him around and keeps right on going, and he's there to help make the stop and actually try to swipe the ball away from Schwark.
He is in for Nick Mitchell right now. Remember the downs that these guys received? The Lance Heaps, the Matt Uzels and company in the games against Trinity in the second half against Lufkin. Third down, 7. Schwark, play action rolls. Wants to throw over the middle, pass almost intercepted, and guess who was there? The sophomore deluxe, Takarian Cuba, who is a ball-hawking machine at that safety position. They scored on the last 4th down conversion. Schwark, pass over the middle, incomplete, dropped by Carter as Quet Nicholson that time. Much better job on the coverage, and that pass was not thrown very well, and the lead defense forces Mesquite Horn 4. Josh Hill reversed, Jason Williams, nothing there, lost a couple. $7 if you go Monday or Tuesday if you have reserve tickets. $7 for reserve tickets. $6 general admission tickets start sell Wednesday, Thursday next week. And $4 student tickets. You must have a picture ID if you're going to claim your reserve seat, no exceptions. And all tickets are $7 at the gate. Again, 2 o'clock kickoff, and our pregame will start probably at about 1 or 1:30 from Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium in Tyler. Jason Williams on that play loses a couple of yards. That's just his 2nd carry of this game. Josh Hill will set up and throw over the middle. Walter Simpson, oh, I loved it. Did you see the way, gain of about 12, he reaches out in front of him, Randy, soft hands like pillows. I mean, and just gobbled that up, and he got down at about the 45 and a gain of 12 yards. It's just beautiful. 3rd in the yard for Lee at the 45. Up the gut, Jason Williams, midfield, secondary 40, blocked downfield. Simpson out of bounds at the 30. And anytime you see a big run, you see blocks downfield. He got 25. Blake Larman and Banks initially, and Walter Simpson downfield, and a gain of 25 to the Horn 30.
But it was a hole up the middle that sprung him as Sam Banks and Blake Larman just peeled back on the interior of the nose guard and such and just blew it open. And Jason Williams hit it with authority, and it cuts back outside with a nice big gainer.
Jason has 3 carries, 20 yards. Price, 5 carries, 25, and T.Y. 12 for 129. Offset eye here. Peyton Price up the middle. Bounces off a defender and will go down at about the 27. He hasn't had quite the same room as normal inside. He always kind of takes a hit early, but he keeps those feet running. He's got great balance on the tackle that time. Hill for Horn, but a gain of a couple of yards for Peyton Price.
And what he does there, David, is he just does a great job of hiding behind Matt Holland, kind of rides his hip, and the DB and actually the linebacker can't get to him as Holland's pushing forward and then just trips forward, does Peyton Price for a short pickup.
So here's 2nd down and 8. Robert E. Lee at the 28-yard line of the Jaguars of Horn. Tight end is Fleet. On the wing, it's Jason Williams. They go bootleg. Josh has a man downfield. Pass caught. 20, 15, Peyton Price. And Josh Hill made a great read. He had a couple of receivers downfield, and he throws it to the fullback, and a first down inside the 15. Mark Malik was there, 17 yards and a first down. Josh Hill is 11 of 12 for 163 yards and has scored twice in the ground. Wingback reverse. Oh, my goodness. Tony Bush got so excited. He was about to score, and now a flag comes down at the end of the play in what looked like against number 30 for Mesquite Horn, Jake Potter. Dead ball on sportsmanlike penalty against Horn, and this is their MO. They lead the district from what we've been told with post-play penalties, and it's been like that throughout the year. Not sure what their problem is on that, but this is going to go half the distance. Tony Bush was going to walk in the end zone. Okay, I got to make fun of him. I've been waiting for this, okay?
Those
he's going to kill me.
Those little feet.
I walked by the field house, and they were trying on the new shoes because they have the flat, the hard AstroTurf. And Tyrone Ross goes, hey, Mr. Smoke, look at Tony Bush's shoes. They were different. He said, look at those tiny little feet. And I think those tiny little feet got him a little bit mixed up here. But Tony Bush is going to kill me. And now Robert E. Lee will get it should get the down over again.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike, on the defense, half the distance, second down.
Okay,
that's the call.
Just half the distance to the goal, and the ball's at about the 7.
At first I thought it was on Bush for flinging the ball down after stumbling forward, but it wasn't, thank goodness.
Second down, Lee double tight set, stretch play. Jason up the gut near the goal line, and will stretch for close to a first down at about the 1.5. And Tony Watkins, the defensive tackle, big 77, and Cordero Moore, we finally call his name, not because he's been pancaked by the big human island, Saron Black. And I like the explosion that Williams showed that time in the cutback down inside the 2, and it's third down and a yard.
Yeah, just fall nicely behind Banks and Larman, who get a nice push up front as well, with the human island, Saron Black pushing back on Moore.
Brad Royal, Peyton Price, and Jason Williams. Full house backfield. Jason near the goal line, fights, scratches, claws, and scores. Touchdown, Robert E. Lee. And now there's a flag down in the back of the end zone. And there are still a lot of fighting and stuff going on in the back of the end zone. Sam Banks and Saron Black. Craig Smoke might have had a better angle.
Yeah, I was watching Jason Williams cross the goal line. At first it looked like Mesquite Horn players thought that he fumbled the ball, and they tried to say that it was a fumble instead of a touchdown. Then I looked at the back of the end zone where the flag was thrown, and I see Saron and Sam Banks walking back, and a Mesquite Horn player looked pretty excited. Now they don't look so excited, so I'm not quite sure exactly what happened.
Unsportsmanlike on White. Touchdown counts, 15 yards on the try.
All right, it's a point. The points count. The touchdown from Jason Williams from the 2. He will score 34-7 lead. But I think I'm going to say this, and I may be out of context here. I think Saron and Sam are getting kind of fed up with some of those chip blocks going on at the end of the play by the defense, and they finally just mauled somebody in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, more than that, too. They have to show and keep their poise and their discipline on the field. That's the main thing that Coach Owens is going to preach.
Yeah, but here's my problem
right.
with this. Lee has had a couple of post-play penalties this year. This is almost like a field goal now for Cole Skates. They've not had this problem until they played Mesquite Horn.
True.
Here's a long 35-yard extra point by Skates. It is long enough, and it is no good off to the left. So the extra point is no good. The distance, it's been a tough day for Cole kicking the ball. He had the one blocked, and that one's no good. 34-7, Robert E. Lee with 2:02 to go third quarter. 2:02 to go third quarter. Robert E. Lee 34 and Horn 7. Randy?
Another nice drive for the Red Raiders, David. 8 plays, 64 yards in 3:42 with Jason Williams doing the honors this time, taking it in from 1 yard out. And, of course, the 35-yard extra point goes wide left.
So Robert E. Lee is piling up some huge yards tonight. 189 yards on the ground, 163 yards passing. And there are 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. And here comes Micah Johnson to kick off, left-footed from his 40 on the north end of the end zone. Kicks, line drive squib. Mesquite Horn will pick it up. That is Oputa at the 25, 30. Out to the 35-yard line, and here comes the ball loose again. And I tell you what, Mesquite Horn has a really bad problem. And I looked at their stats, Randy. They actually are plus
6, yeah,
which is hard to imagine. But here's the problem. They have fumbled the ball 34 times. but they have not lost many of them. But tonight they've lost, obviously, the one at the goal line and the kickoff return to start the second half.
Yeah, they've been able to recover it, over half the times, and their defense has had some nice interceptions to help complement that +6.
All right, so it's now 1st and 10. The Jaguars down by 27. Matt Uzel in at linebacker for Lee, and I think so is Trevor Reed. This is Schwark to Mon Williams off left tackle. Great job by Robert E. Lee defensively. At the bottom of that pile is Justin Simmons. Colby Ray and Matt Uzel and a bunch of others were down there. And there's a player down for Horn. No, he just lost his tread. 2nd down, 8. Horn from the 38-yard line. Split back, set. Quarterback keeps it off the outside towards the near sideline and has close to a 1st down at the 46-yard line. And that time he just slipped and fell in the neighborhood. Mitchell and Uzel, and I think he's got a 1st down at about the 49.
Yeah, he has a nice lead block, too, from Mon Williams as he cuts back outside and hits Uzel at the point of attack and drives him back. But 2 or 3 white shirts are there to help clean up on Steven Schwark after
under a minute to go, 3rd quarter, 34-7. Robert E. Lee trying to win their 4th in a row. Bo Bambry is checked in at middle linebacker. Secondary pretty much stays the same. Preston Hill's now in at safety. And Schwark from his 46-yard line. Quick pop to Mon Williams, and he looked like he had much more, but Lee again forces him back in. Nick Mitchell was there. Colby Ray got a rake of the knee over his head. Bo Bambry there as well. So is Trevor Reed in a gain of 5.
They do a great job of getting to the ball carrier. As he cuts back inside, he's just brought down by a nice swarm of Lee Red Raiders.
Clock now under 20 seconds remaining, 3rd quarter, and I think that they're going to let that thing run out. 34, Robert E. Lee 34, and Horn 7. Back with more, 4th quarter from Hanby Stadium, Mesquite, in 60 seconds on KTVB. Yard inside Lee territory at the 49 on 2nd down and 6 after a 4-yard gain from Williams, who has a pretty decent game going now. Schwark, Williams, right tackle, spins outside. Close to a 1st down, he's got it. Leans down to the 40-yard line and has a 1st down and a gain of about 10 yards to the Lee 40. Give him 9, and now he's got 59 yards on 16 carries.
Well, he cuts outside and gets a nice block up front from his right tackle, Zapata. Makes a nice push, and he also has help from Moss, who's pulling as a right guard, who stretches out the play, and he cuts back outside him for a nice pickup.
Justin Hanson's checked in at safety for Robert E. Lee, and now Jason Striplin, trying to get off the field, and we do hope that that is not the shoulder that has bothered him most of the year. We'll get a report on him in a moment because he's been able to get through the last month or so without that shoulder bothering him, and he tosses a helmet down, and I think he might have maybe got that stinger back in there, and they cannot afford to lose Jason Striplin with the postseason coming up next week. At the 40-yard line, Schwark, this is a play-action pass. Throws, now runs. He's got either option, 40. Nice tackle, open field by Nick Mitchell at the 32-yard line. He could have done either one, but he got 9 yards, and that's a little quarterback bootleg. Has been very successful for Horn tonight when they've run it. 2nd down and a yard at the lead 31. Williams, the lone setback this time, and they throw it back to him on the deep pitch. Bounces outside, 30, cuts it 25. 1st down, knocked down by Justin Hanson, the safety, but he picks up big chunk of yardage for a gain of about 8 more, and a 1st down for the Horn Jaguars, and now all of a sudden Mon Williams has 67 yards on 16 carries.
Well, what they're doing differently, or appears to me at least, is they're running the ball out wide more often, and Williams stretches the play out himself, and give credit to the Lee defense for stretching it out too, and allowing him to not get around the corner early on.
Split far side is one receiver, near side another, and lone setback. They're going lone setback now, and that's Mon Williams. Schwark, they give it to him. He goes off left, right tackle. 1st down, maybe inside the 15. Justin Hanson saved the touchdown. He got 9 more, and Takarian Cuba there as well. And all of a sudden, they're just taking Mon Williams and trying to pad his stats.
Well,
defensive tackle, split backs this time. Phillips and Williams, and there's movement. And it looked like Mon Williams may have jumped first. There was movement on the lead defensive line, but the defensive tackle did not cross that neutral zone, and this should be a 5-yard, and it is mark-off, and that is just the second. Is that ready?
That's the 3rd penalty.
Third penalty.
Right.
Of course, Lee had 3 in one drive.
3 penalties for 17 yards.
So, and again, one of them, of course, half the distance on the unsportsmanlike penalty call. Justin Simmons is out. Colby Ray comes in as Lee continues to rotate players on defense. I love these white uniforms. Very good-looking uniforms, and they're trying to win for the first time on the road this year after very tough, every one of them, gut-wrenching losses to Lufkin, and then, of course, to Trinity, and then to Longview. Second down and, let's say, 7. Schwark pitches it back to Williams off right tackle, and no, actually that's number 3, Jonathan Phillips, for about 4. Down to the 15-yard line. Bo Bambry at the bottom of the pile for Robert E. Lee. So is Micah Johnson, and Matt Uzel was there, and it's a gain of 3 or 4, and it's now 3rd and 2. We'll send Carter far side with Nicholson going man-to-man on him. This is Williams, left tackle. Nice job by Takarian Cuba. And also Bo Bambry, he is short of the first down. And it looked like he had a huge gap, but Bambry and Cuba there make the stop after a gain of a yard. It's 4th down.
It closed up very fast as Lee's red swarm, actually white swarm tonight, gets there and wraps up Mon Williams, and he has nowhere to go just at the point of attack.
Coming in with the play, Guerrero. That's Craig Guerrero. And this is similar to what they had earlier, remember. 1st or 2nd down and goal from the 1 when they fumbled the ball to turn this thing around. Williams and Phillips. Tight end is on the near side. Schwark, Williams, first down inside the 15, down to the 10, and he just leans forward for a gain of 4, and that will be another first down for the Horn Jaguars with 8 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, 34-7 lead. If you don't say for Michael Johnson, for Micah Johnson, it's like for Micah, like the stuff on the floor. At about the 9, Schwark rolls far side, throws, pass, overshoots, no, caught, touchdown. Lauren Carter on Quet Nicholson, and that was a nice throw to get it over the linebacker. And Lauren Carter sure has had a nice night. That's his 3rd touchdown pass of the year, and he's had 2 of those tonight.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be overthrown to the interior inside receiver, and it was over his head. But right there behind him, about 2 yards back behind him, is Lauren Carter diving for the ball and making a great catch as Stephen Schwark throws a nice pass right to the wide receiver.
So the 2nd touchdown throw of the night, and they had just 2 all year. Here's the extra point, almost blocked by Robert E. Lee, but it is good. And now with 7:27 remaining, our score, Robert E. Lee 34, Horn 14, and we're back with 60 seconds on KTBB, Keys, and ESPN. 7:27 remaining. Here is Kane, and he will squib it. It takes a nice hop, and Lee will pick it up. That is Brad Royal at the 25-30, and will be tripped up at the 31-yard line by Guerrero. And for the 10th consecutive game, Lee is, of course, going to, if they win tonight, this is not over yet, but if they do win tonight, they'll be 7-3. No matter what, this is their 7th or 10th consecutive game of over 30 points since the opening win, 41-0 against Port Arthur Memorial. Then you can extend it back to the 50-48 loss to the Woodlands. That was also a game in which they scored a bunch. They beat Plano East, what was it, 31-0?
31-3.
So that was 30. They had 57 against Naaman Forest. They had over 30 against John Tyler. They're on a long stretch as Preston Hills checked in at quarterback, and he will give the ball to Brad Royal off right tackle, and he's got a nice run. 40, first down, midfield, and the fullback, Brad Royal, takes a bunch of people with him outside and into Mesquite Horn territory. 20 yards on the carry from the fullback, Brad Royal.
He does a superb job. He gets a nice block right, and he had a nice hole to run through. He cuts through it, and he just pounds his way, and it takes 6 or 7 red shirts for the Horn Jaguars to bring him down.
And he's kind of feisty because, remember, he had a pretty good game going, hurt himself 2-3 weeks ago, and he skipped over a couple of defenders, too. So under 7 minutes to go, and Brad got 20 as Lee closes in on over 300 yards rushing, close to it. Now at the 48 of Horn, and John Williams will go to the far side with Walter Simpson. Lone setback. Royal, play action, Preston Hill. In the pocket now, looking for some help. Will turn the corner, get loose, 45-40, cuts it against the grain, 35, you got to be kidding me. At the 20, 15, Preston Hill. Wow. 48 yards. And the one thing that young man has done was gain tremendous foot speed. He was slower than dirt last year. He looked like a guy that knew what he was doing right there.
Well, it was he just looked like a great running back. He found an opening once he got outside. It cuts back across the field, makes 2 or 3 great juke moves. I couldn't help but laugh because it was just a great run from 48 yards out for Preston Hill.
He got around the corner. Remember, he was flush from the pocket, got around the corner, and then made a tremendous cutback at about the 30-yard line. They're going to take him out as they got a new holder in the game, and I think that's Walter Simpson. And then he turned the Jets on, and I'm talking about outran people. That is the future quarterback, of course, for Mike Owens and company. Here comes the snap, the hold, the kick by Cole is up, and it is good. And Preston Hill has put Lee over 40, 41-14, 48 yards, and that was pretty nifty. 6:28 to go. 2 plays. What a nice drive for Robert E. Lee, Brad Royal, then Preston Hill, and that was as nifty a 48-yard run as you'll see on what was flush from the pocket, a scramble. Randy?
Yeah, he just made a great, really an electrifying run, if you will. 2 plays, 69 yards and 51 seconds for Robert E. Lee's scoring drive, and they go over 40 for what, the 4th time this year or 5th?
Wow.
And make it another nice offensive productive night for the Red Raiders.
They've been averaging 38.3 points a game. Micah Johnson, this is going to go over the head of the deep back, which is Phillips, to the back of the end zone, and so Horn will take over at their 20-yard line, and that's where they will start. 6:28 to go. Lee started the game averaging 283 yards a game on the ground. They have 259. They averaged 155 yards in the air per game. They have 163. So they are above their average. This is a backup quarterback in the game as Mesquite Horn goes up the gut for about 3 yards, and that's number 32, Matt Uzel, stopping 32 for Horn. $7 reserve tickets on Monday and Tuesday. General admission will be on sale Wednesday and Thursday. Those are $6. Student tickets are $4 and $7 for everybody at the gate of what should be a packed house at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. 32 picks up 3 yards for the Jaguars as they call off the Dogs as well. Tight end near side, their backup quarterback Josh Madden. They pitch it back, and there's not much there, and a nice play for Lee as they're going to, okay, now see, the back judge is throwing a flag for what he thought was a face mask. He throws it, and I don't think it was. I think that he should be, that is ridiculous. But I'm sorry, you had the official, the umpire, and the referee and the line judge right there. He grabbed his shoulder pad, and that's what made him spin around, and he throws it from 25 yards from behind the defense.
5-yard pace.
5:38 to go. Clock runs. 41-14, Robert E. Lee. In motion, Guerrero. Madden, the quarterback. He will go play action far side. Tries to get around Simmons. Now goes deep. Adrian Beard. Oh, that's pass interference. Now that should be a flag. So the umpire, the back judge there, and Adrian Beard just got torn around that time. And they throw the ball deep to Lauren Carter. And that's going to cost Lee 15 yards defensively, as he just got lost in space that time, but he's getting some valuable time at a time where they can give him the valuable time. They run that inverted wing, and now they'll throw it deep. Madden pass is incomplete, and what a nice play by Robert E. Lee linebacker. Check that, that's the safety, Justin Hansen. He batted that away. Pass was intended for number 32. That time for Mesquite Horn, which is Sean Hill. It's incomplete. 34-7, Longview leads John Tyner second half at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. Klein Collins leads Lufkin 21-14. Here's a bust up the middle for a big gain of about 17 for Hill. Klein Collins leads Lufkin 21-14 third quarter, and Sean Hill picks up a nice gain down to the Lee 38 and a gain of 8 yards.
Well, he has a nice hole, too, and that's why he busted open right at the point of attack. 2 Red Raiders missed tackles, but he trudges on through in a big gainer where he's brought down by Hansen and company in the secondary.
5 minutes and now clock runs. 41-14. Robert E. Lee has scored 44, 44, and 41 the last 3 weeks as well.
Yep.
Tight end near side. Lee with their 3-man front. Madden throws over the middle, intended, and caught. Nope. Now they're going to throw a flag. And that looked like, to me, it might be offensive pass interference.
The defender played
against
the ball.
number 2, Lafayette Brooks, because I thought Adrian Beard was where he was supposed to be. And to me, this ought to go against Horn because he was holding Beard from trying to make the catch for what should have been an interception. We'll see what the call might be. It looks like Horn is moving backwards, and I think that time they're going to go against the Red Horn Jaguars. Yeah, that's a good call.
Very much so, yes.
Roughing the passer on the defense, those penalties offset.
They call roughing the passer on Justin Simmons, I think it was, who was trying to get to the quarterback. And you got to hit a quarterback extremely late at the high school and college level to get roughing the passer. They don't wear skirts in high school like they do at the NFL level. They will let you drill somebody at the college level or at the high school level well after he throws the football. And so offsetting penalties, and that would be, if it would have been accepted, which it is, now the 13th penalty against Robert E. Lee, although that one goes for no yardage. Now the whistle blows as they try to reset the clock, and the ball's a yard closer than it should be at the line of scrimmage. Well, we can start talking about the game next week against Garland. And unlike the last, we'll get to that in a moment. Madden now at the 38 on 1st and 10. Hill is right behind him. They give him the ball at the middle, and a great play by the defensive end for Robert E. Lee, who makes the play. And Takarian Cuba or Nick Mitchell just tossed down a Jaguar player who was trying to get kind of in his skin again, and I kind of like the way he was pretty feisty right there.
Yeah, he fought him off, but great backups are getting some nice play tonight.
A different feeling for Lee entering the playoffs this year compared to the last few years. 2nd down and 9. Madden wants to run, scrambles, and hit hard. Nice stop that time. That is Matt Uzel, who's turned out to be a tremendous backup linebacker, and also there was McLean and Colby Ray. And no gain. In fact, he lost a yard. The last 2 or 3 years, you just felt Lee was the obvious favorite entering the playoffs. They are the favorite against Garland, you would think. But at the same time, they have not really, they've gotten on a kind of a semi-roll, Randy, but the little penalties that have bothered them again early in this game are some things that they have to clean up before they play next week against Garland. 3rd and 10 from the 38-yard line. It's 41-14, Robert E. Lee in charge. Madden, play action, gets around the outside, now pressured by Reed, wants to throw it deep. It's Adrian Beard there, and it's caught. What a catch by Lorne Carter. He went over the back of Adrian Beard, but Craig Smokey's just bigger and taller.
I mean, yeah, no offense to Adrian Beard. I mean, 88 is a big guy for Mesquite Horn, and that's all it was. He just was able to be, he was taller, and was able to just reach over his back pretty much and grab the ball away from him.
And it looked like Adrian was trying to fend him off, and he just, like you said, he just was more physical, and Mike Owen just barking at the head linesman, because if that would have been the other way around, it's a pass interference call. Under 3 minutes to go, and Horn driving again. Madden to Hill, up the middle, spun forward inside the 5 for a gain of 5, and the Jaguars trying to get on the board with 2:40 to go, 4th quarter clock running down. Carries tonight and does not get to 100, and most of his yards were cheap yards in the 3rd quarter. Here is the deep pitch back, and he will cut up against the grain and be knocked down at about the 2. Colby Ray was there again, and that's a nice move by Greg Bertrand. Hanson was there as well. He got down to the 2, but nice spin move for a couple of yards.
And Lee does react pretty well as they stop him after he makes a great spin move, as you mentioned, just to get back past the line of scrimmage for a yard or 2 gain.
All right, we got to get a player of the game, and I think it's going to be Jonathan Williams tonight. He had the 2 catches, a 40-yarder, a 15-yarder. He recovers 2 fumbles and has a great downfield block. The junior wide receiver will be our Dusty Rhodes Marine player of the game at the 2. This is Sean Hill, and he will get down and I think score. Yep, touchdown. Horn gets on the board as they've driven twice long distance against the Lee backup defense to make this thing look pretty respectable. 41-20 with 1:31 to go.
Their fans are going nuts down here in front of us. They're happy for their players. They have a lot of heart, too, most can say, but they get a nice push and get the touchdown.
So now with 1:31 to go, they will bring in the Kane, the extra point kicker. Yeah, they're pretty jacked up. Wow.
He must be a crowd favorite as they're really loving on him on the sideline.
Extra point is somehow good. And a flag comes down at the end of the kick. Matt Uzel, I don't know how he missed it. but the extra point is good. Personal foul against Robert E. Lee, roughing the kicker. They'll get it on the kickoff. That's the 14th penalty against Lee. 41-21. Robert E. Lee up 20. We're back in 60 seconds. And we'll have our post-game report in a moment. Horn kicks off from the Lee 45, and they just kick it deep. Down in the corner, caught by Walter Simpson over the shoulder, a la Willie Mays, and he will take a knee at 11-yard line. And Lee will just take over right there, as he just didn't want to start running around and have something come loose and get this thing to be more interesting than it really needs to be.
Mesquite Horn, 11 plays, 80 yards, David, and 457. As they have 2 nice drives in the second half, but that was with a lot of Lee backups in there. Nonetheless, Lee has to play a little bit better even when those subs are in the game.
They're going to have to face the hammer of the wing T next week, which is Jody Jordan, who's the head coach at Garland. They have a very proud tradition. They're going to want to run the football, keep the Lee offense off the field. And I was told at halftime by one of their assistant coaches, hold on, here's Preston Hill to Brad Royal, who breaks a couple of tackles and gets out for a 2 or 3. That if they can shut down one of the running backs they faced earlier this year, they should be able to shut down Tyrone Ross. But can they shut down Ross, Williams, Price, and the passing game, which has been very multiple tonight when they've needed it to be? And a gain of 3 for Brad Royal, and it's second down here as the clock winds down under a minute to go in this game, and Lee's going to go 7-3.
Well, you mentioned earlier a few moments ago about a different feel leading into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just my comment on that is Lee is very, very explosive offensively. It's going to be how they play against the run against Garland that's going to be the key, and being healthy will help as well.
Brad Royal off left tackle, breaks a tackle again, and will get about 6 or 7 out near the 20, close to a first down, and what could be at least one more play before this thing is whistled dead with 34 seconds remaining, and Brad Royal gets 6 yards. And it's the defense at times they've swarmed, but they've also given up the big plays when they have a chance to put a team away. But the penalties, I mean, this is a very heavily penalized team, and they just can't afford to do that because you don't know how many opportunities you're going to get against the Garlands of the world compared to teams like a Mesquite or a North Mesquite, and they're going to wind the whistle down and they won't have to take another snap. Our final score, Robert E. Lee has won 4 in a row to end set up themselves in the 8th consecutive trip to the 5A state playoffs as they struggled early, get a big turnover at the 1-yard line on the fumble return by recovery by Micah Johnson, and go on to beat Horn 41-21.